YouTube, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we have a brand new episode of our Coach of Destiny series on NCAA Football 14. Now, today's episode is going to be a lot different than usual. We actually don't have a game to play. We just recently won our bowl game over WKU. If you missed that one, you can check out the link to it down in the description below, as well as catch up on the rest of this series if you haven't already by going over our YouTube page, hitting that sub button, turn that notification bell on, and scrolling down to find the designated Coach of Destiny series playlist. Now, some of you may be wondering what happens next now that our season is over with, and well, we actually have to go into the off season, and we would jump into the coaching carousel. And so I've done a lot of different simulations and stuff like that for you all to go ahead and jump ahead on the timeline and everything to see and narrow down what our choices are. But I'm going to slide over to our game real quick, and we're kind of going to see the situation that we're in. And so as you can see here, ULM has hired a head coach. They actually did not even consider Coach Passmeaux for the job. He was not interviewed or anything like that. And they have hired on the offensive coordinator from Cincinnati, Mike Denbrock, to take over the ULM job. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the only way to put it. We helped lead them to a bowl game and everything like that, led them to a Sun Belt Conference championship, and they did not even bother to interview Coach Passmeaux for a job. So like I said before, we went ahead and we figured out all of our coaching opportunities that we would have with Coach Passmeaux. Unfortunately, we did not get a position or even get an interview to be a head coach during this offseason after our past season. So we have it down to 4 options currently. And so I'm going to pull these options up for you to be able to see. And we're going to kind of check them out and kind of run through how this is going to work and everything for this offseason. But as you can see here, this is going to be Coach Passmeaux's Coaching Carousel. And so this is actually a Google document. If you want to check it out, it's going to be linked in that description as well as all of the polls to be able to vote where you want us to go is going to be linked in that description too. So I'm just kind of going to read you through this and kind of going to walk you through each of our places and everything that we're looking at here. It says, welcome to Coach Passmeaux's Coaching Carousel. Within our Coach of Destiny Dynasty series here on YouTube, we like to let the people, aka you, decide where our coach ends up each and every offseason. During each offseason, we'll use this tool here, so this Google Sheet, in order to break down our coaching carousel options. You're going to be able to find the job information, the recruiting pitch from each school, as well as the active roster for each school that we will be choosing from. This document can help you cast your vote on what you think we should do, and just know that your vote matters. You're allowed to vote as many times as you want to. You can vote in the Twitter poll. You can vote in the YouTube poll. You can vote in the Discord poll. Each and every one of those votes is going to count as a vote and as its own individual vote. Make sure to vote on as many platforms as possible if you really want your vote to count. Basically, all votes will be counted together at the end of the voting period, with the winning option being our destination for the upcoming season. So whatever ends up coming out as the top option, that is where we will choose to go, and that is what our job will be for the upcoming season. If there is a tie, though, at the end of the voting period, at that point, I'll do something for the tiebreaker. If it's between 2 teams, maybe I'll flip a coin or something like that, or maybe I might have a preference, and I'll pick which one out of those 2 if it comes down to that. Hopefully we won't have a tie. Shouldn't come to that. We should have a varying enough vote. So I'm just kind of going to walk you through what happened last season on this next part here real quick. So information regarding this offseason's coaching carousel. Season achievements from last season. We ended up with the number 17 national ranking. So that's after we beat WKU. We jumped up in the rankings and we finished the season at the number 17 national ranking. We were crowned the Sun Belt Conference champions, of course. We were the RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl champions, and then we finished the season with a 10-3 overall record. And then so as it says here in this description, after a very successful season, head coach Terry Bowden left to take a job at the University of Cincinnati. Even with the head coach leaving, ULM football did not offer or bother reaching out to offensive coordinator Jackson Passmeaux, our coach, about the head coaching position. Instead, ULM football decided to bring in former Cincinnati offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock to be their new head coach after Bowden decided to remove him from the Cincinnati staff. So that is right. Our head coach went to Cincinnati to be their head coach, decided he did not like the offensive coordinator that was there. So then ULM hired their offensive coordinator to come be our head coach. So we basically swapped coaches. Due to these decisions and everything like that, Coach Passmeaux decided to decline the extension offered by ULM to remain on the staff as the offensive coordinator. He will now instead look to move on, and that is where we are at now. So I'm going to put the link into these parts of each and every poll. So if you want to find them here, you can find them here, or they'll be down in that description, like I said. And then here's some further information about this sheet. The positions listed on each team sheet are those that have recorded stats during the previous season that should return to the school for the upcoming season pending transfers or early draft declaration. So we are in that offseason period where people haven't declared to leave for the NFL draft. People haven't tried to transfer anything yet. And you can only see people that recorded stats. So I'm not sure on incoming freshmen and stuff like that what those pieces look like for each team. The class for the upcoming season means that is the classification they will be under for the 2014 season. So if a player was a freshman, for whatever stats were recorded, they were a freshman when they recorded those stats. Whatever I have listed on this sheet, if it then says sophomore, that is what they will be during the upcoming season while we're playing the game. So if it's a senior, that doesn't mean they're going to be leaving us or anything like that. That means they will be a season for this upcoming season. Players may improve their overall in ratings based off their previous season stats. Overall bumps and stuff like that haven't happened yet. So however their stats were could mean they jump up in overall and they improve. And then these teams down at the bottom here are tabbed in alphabetical order, not by preference. So just to kind of clarify that of why they're in the order that they are. We have 4 teams that we have narrowed down as our top 4 choices of where Coach Passmeaux wants to go. And the top choice, or not the top choice, but the first choice that we will look into is going to be the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. So that is right. We're looking to make a possible lateral move across the Sun Belt Conference to Coastal Carolina, to a team that we did beat during the season. And we're going to see the recruiting pitch here, as well as kind of what they did during the previous season and all that. So last season, they finished the season ranked number 22 in the nation. They had a 10-3 overall record. I'm pretty sure they tied us kind of in the conference, but they didn't win out. They didn't win enough conference games because we beat them in that tiebreaker. So we won the championship over them, but they also had a very successful season. They're offering Coach Passmeaux the offensive coordinator position, and then we have 5 recruiting pitches from each of these schools. And so number 1 from Coastal Carolina is going to be that they did have that stellar season last year, finishing the season ranked and almost winning the conference title if it wasn't for us and UNLM over there with Coach Passmeaux, where we won it ourselves. ULM's statement win during the season over Coastal Carolina is what made them want to bring on Passmeaux to the staff. They love the way he coached the game and how he interacts with players. The staff sees him as somebody that could eventually be a head coach and lead a successful team. Number 3, knowing that ULM passed on even interviewing Passmeaux for the head coaching position, Coastal looks to bring him in on their staff in a major role in a revenge style. Coastal looks to win the conference and help show the nation that Passmeaux had a bigger role in that conference championship last season than he is given credit for. They want to then help Coach Passmeaux pursue a head coaching position in the future. So they're really looking to bring him in, kind of give him his revenge season, his revenge scenario, help him to succeed, and then help him find a head coaching position after that. Number 4, this is a school known for letting offensive coaches be creative and showcase their skills, somewhere that gets noticed nationally and is under the spotlight even while being in the Sun Belt Conference. And then number 5, of course, they have some of the best jerseys and athletic facilities in the nation. With an even better campus environment, it is a place that recruits want to attend and be a part of the community. And so we'll take a kind of a glance at their roster here while we're at it. And so quarterback, of course, is going to be Grayson McCall. A lot of people, if you keep up with college football, these are updated rosters and everything, so you know who of Grayson McCall. For this upcoming season, he will then be a redshirted junior. Last season, he threw for 2,600 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 picks. He is currently 88 overall with 83 speed, 89 acceleration, 87 throw power, and 80 accuracy. And then we got 4 running backs currently coming back that are on the roster. We've got Reese White, Braden Bennett, Isaiah Connolly, and Max Balthazar. You can see their statistics there. None of them were really the key guys, but kind of the bumped up stats here and everything on them. That number 1 running back is going to be 89 speed, 91 acceleration. That is probably who Passmeaux would go with if he did end up going to Coastal Carolina. 3 receivers here are going to be coming back. And as you can see, redshirt junior, redshirt senior, and another junior. So there's some veteran guys. And you can see their statistics on here as well. 72 overall, 70 overall, 70 overall. So they're not the most experienced guys, the most veteran players. They're older guys, but they definitely haven't had much field use yet. You can tell that definitely by looking at their stats. They're going to be 80 speed, 82 speed, and 73 speed. And then the tight end that is going to be coming back is a redshirt senior. He only had 1 catch last season, and he's going to be at 70 overall and 69 speed. If you want to look at all the rest of the stats, I'm only going to kind of glance over these for each of these teams. If you want to go more in depth on them, of course, like I said, you can go down to that link in the description. You can pull it up either on your phone. It pulls up best on desktop. And you can check them out there to kind of more so clarify how you want to vote for this. Next school that we have on our list is going to be the University of Louisville. And this one makes me cringe to see. Makes me cringe to even put on this list, but I know some people are going to want to vote for it. I'm actually from Louisville, Kentucky, and I am not a Louisville fan by any means necessary. I'm a Kentucky football fan. So having to play with them, having to win with them, having to possibly lead them to conference championships, national championships, wins over UK, every win's going to be a little bit painful for me inside, but it's what some of the people wanted to see. So that's kind of what we've narrowed down to, and we're kind of going to walk through everything in their recruiting pitch and their roster as well, of course. So last season, Louisville finished the season unranked with a 7-6 record. They're, of course, offering us that offensive coordinator position. There are 5 reasons to bring us on. Number 1, after a middling season, U of L decided not to re-sign their offensive coordinator from last season and is now looking for somebody fresh to lead them to an ACC title. After an impressive season at ULM in his first year, helping lead them to a Sun Belt Conference championship, they believe Coach Passmeaux could be the guy to help get them there. Number 2, although Passmeaux doesn't have much experience against Power 5 schools, they were very impressed with his almost upset over then number 2 Oklahoma. That was in game 1 of this season, as well as the hot streak to end the season that was capped over by his huge performance over WKU in that bowl victory during our last game of the season. Number 3, with Passmeaux being from Louisiana, U of L believes they can attract a lot of talent he has connections to come play for them. He would not only have complete control running the offense, but would also have additional oversight over offensive recruiting in order to get the guys he wants for his signature salvo offensive system. Number 4, Power 5 schools with an opportunity to compete for major bowl games and a national championship. U of L has a history of having high-powered offenses and competing at a high level, and look to continue that tradition by bringing on Passmeaux. Number 5, Louisville, Kentucky, of course, is a city that is diverse and has many attractions, including horse racing, the Bourbon Trail, bustling nightlife, and wide-open outskirts to enjoy life in many various forms. It is a place that can cater to all types of people, and that Coach Passmeaux can possibly raise a family and be happy. So here's kind of a glance at the roster here. Quarterback is going to be a redshirt junior. He was not the starter last year. It was Malik Cunningham, so he only threw for 14 yards. He was like 1 for 11 on the season. He is 74 overall, 76 speed, 90 acceleration, 90 throw power, though, with only 75 accuracy. Running back was the starter last year. It's going to be Jalen Mitchell. He's a redshirt junior. He's going to be 80 overall at 83 speed, 90 acceleration, and then the rest of his stats listed there. And then the backup running back didn't get much play time, but he is 74 overall with that 90 speed and 91 acceleration, and both of those are key for Coach Passmeaux's system. 2 wide receivers are going to be 2 kind of a little bit of studs. They're at least fast guys, at least. Jordan Watkins was the number 1 last year. He's going to be a junior this year. He had, of course, 53 catches, 740 yards, 6 touchdowns. He is 76 overall, but he's a whopping 94 speed, 91 acceleration, and he has kind of some good catching ability as well. Next guy up, 74 overall, 91 speed, 91 acceleration. And then have 2 tight ends coming back on this team, redshirt junior, redshirt sophomore. 2 experienced guys, had quite a few catches on the season. Starter would be 86 overall, 73 speed. And then the backup would be 71 overall, 71 speed. So that kind of wraps up Louisville's roster, Louisville's recruiting pitch. Now we're on to Team 3, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And so this is going to be a Mountain West team. They, of course, last season, they finished the season right behind us. They finished the season with a number 18 national ranking. They were Mountain West Conference championships, and they finished the year with an 11-3 record. They're offering that offensive coordinator position to us as well. And then here is their recruiting pitch. So number 1, Billy Napier, former head coach of the ULL Raging Cajuns, so the guy that we played against last year, has accepted the job to be UNLV's new head coach. After Passmeaux's offense assisted in beating him during rivalry week last season, he was impressed and started looking more into his backstory. Number 2, once Passmeaux's trademark salvo offense helped lead ULM to that Sun Belt Conference championship and huge bowl game victory, he made the decision that he would pursue Passmeaux to be the next offensive coordinator under him at University of Louisiana Lafayette, if the moment arrives. When he accepted the job at UNLV, though, he needed a new OC under him. With Coach Passmeaux being one of the guys he was looking to be bringing in to ULL before, he asked him to be on this UNLV staff. Number 3, they do have a stellar young quarterback that was an All-American last year that we can come in and kind of groom. And then they have some other solid skill guys to also help to build the foundation and future of the team. Number 4, they have great jerseys and new athletic facilities. Not much of a community aspect with it being Vegas, but it still has support from the city. And number 5, Vegas is, of course, an amazing city, but can also come with distractions for both the players and coaches and they can get in trouble due to that. And then here's our glance at the roster here, and here's that All-American quarterback we were talking about. This year, he's going to be a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore, Doug Brumfield. He's 6'5", 215. Threw for 3,500 yards last year, 37 touchdowns, and only 8 picks. He is 81 overall. Unfortunately, he's only 66 speed, but he does have 85 throw power and 74 throw accuracy. The backup quarterback is a redshirt senior. That is going to be Justin Rogers. He is also 81 overall. Faster at 79 speed. He has 84 throw power and a little bit more accuracy at 78 accuracy. So he wasn't the starter last year, but he is a very solid backup, and they actually are that same overall. Running backs got two Cummins at 74 and 75 overall. Both kind of got a little bit of carries last year. One is going to be 81 speed, 88 acceleration. Other one's going to be 83 speed, 87 acceleration. And then we have actually 5 receivers coming back on this team. So a junior, redshirt junior, another junior, a sophomore, and another redshirt junior. And they're all going to be 6'5" or 6 foot and above. And one of them was the main guy last year. He had 91 catches, 1,300 yards, and 15 touchdowns. He was also an All-American wide receiver. He is going to be 85 overall, 86 speed, 90 acceleration. Guy after him, 82 overall, 88 speed, 88 acceleration. Guy after him at 71 overall, 87 speed, 69 overall, 83 speed, 70 overall, 84 speed. And they only have one tight end coming back, redshirt sophomore, 6'6", 260. Didn't have much playing time. 70 overall, only 60 speed. So now we will go to our fourth and final school, and that is going to be West Virginia, the West Virginia Mountaineers of the Big 12 Conference. Last season, they finished the season unranked with a 4-8 record. And they, of course, are going to be offering us that offensive coordinator position as well. You did miss the last live stream. We did go through the entire end of the season recap and everything like that. Michigan State Spartans were actually the national championship winner, and West Virginia has hired on their offensive coordinator be their new head coach. So it says here, number one recruiting pitch is going to be they hired on Jay Johnson as the head coach. He was, of course, that OC last season for the national championship winning Michigan State Spartans. Number two, not only would Passmeaux be able to learn under Jay Johnson as an offensive mind and be able to pick his brain by being on the same staff, Johnson would hand over the offense's reins so that Passmeaux is able to run his salvo offensive scheme. Johnson looks to focus on being a head coach and leader for the team rather than worrying about the offense the team is running. So he looks to pass on play calling abilities that won him that national championship at Michigan State to his new offensive coordinator. Number three, roster has some young future leaders on it, but is also littered with experienced veteran talent throughout. While some positions will need a refreshment of players soon, and you'll see that what I'm talking about here in a minute, they are built both for short-term and long-term success, which kind of all these teams are, but West Virginia particularly is. Number four, WVU is a Power 5 school, of course, with an opportunity to compete for major bowl games and national championships. You're just going to get there easier when they are a Power 5 school. They want to bring back the higher-powered offenses of the Pat White and Steve Slayton days. They expect to compete at a high level, not just within the Big 12, but also on the national stage. Number five, Morgantown, West Virginia is one of the most traditional locations in sports. Although there's not many other forms of entertainment being in West Virginia, the campus itself is the heartbeat of the city. When things are going well within sports, it is one of the greatest places to be in the nation. It is a place that thrives off success and is looking to build a yearly national contender. So we'll take a look at that roster we kind of mentioned here. We do have two quarterbacks coming back. Both are going to be sophomores for this upcoming year. One was the starter last year, and he did not play too hot as he threw for 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 10 picks, and only 46% completion percentage. He is 74 overall, 80 speed, 80 throw power, 78 accuracy. Backup, not far behind him, 73 overall, 80 speed, 82 throw power, 75 accuracy. And then we have the running backs here, junior and a sophomore that'll be coming back. Both didn't get a ton of playing time, and they're both going to be 74 overall, and they're both going to be 81 speed. One's going to have a little more acceleration than the other, and you can kind of see the rest of their differences when you pull up that link down in that description to be able to check out this sheet as a whole on your own. We're going to have 3 wide receivers coming back. And so this is where we kind of talked about this part of the team is built for now and going to need that refreshment. All 3 receivers coming back on this team are going to be seniors. They're all going to be pretty experienced. They're all going to be pretty solid guys with themselves being older at 80, 88, and 78 overall with 87, 90, and 93 speed. So they got some speed, but they are all seniors. They're all going to play this coming up season, and then they're all leaving. Then you're going to have to get a whole new crop of talent to come replace that receiving core. But like I said, they're 88 overall, 80 overall, and 78 overall. And then your 2 tight ends coming back are both going to be seniors as well. So they're going to be guys that are going to be replaced. They both got a lot of experience last year catching the ball, and they're going to be 76 and 78 overall at 75 and 74 speed. This one in particular has 93 acceleration, so he's got a lot of oomph to him at that tight end position. You saw the 4 teams: Louisville, Coastal Carolina, UNLV, and West Virginia. You're going to be able to vote on your own which teams you want, or which team you want us to be able to go to. Whichever one gets the most votes out of all of the platforms put together is the team that we're going to end up with. So please make sure to go down in that link in the description below. Make sure to vote on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere and everywhere that we're posting this poll at. We will have linked. So make sure to vote in as many polls as you want so that your vote counts as many times as possible. But that's all I got for you here. This has been the Coaching Carousel for Coach Passmeaux's first off season. I'll see where we're going during our next live stream. Make sure you're in there. Make sure to have your notification bells on and everything like that so that you know when we go live. We'll be debuting our new team and everything like that during that live stream. So make sure to check it out. Until next time, I'll see you later.